James and Evelyn had the kind of love that felt almost magical, the kind that made others envious. They were inseparable, two souls bound together by fate, moving through life as one. Whether it was morning walks along the beach, spontaneous late-night drives, or cozy evenings curled up with a book, they did everything together. Their love was unshakable, a force that nothing could break, or so they thought. Then came the dreadful news that changed everything. Evelyn was diagnosed with cancer. The moment the doctor spoke those words, James felt his world collapse. He clutched Evelyn's hand, his own trembling, as if trying to shield her from the fate that awaited them. They fought together, side by side, enduring grueling treatments, sleepless nights, and fleeting moments of hope. But no amount of love or prayer could change the inevitable. The disease ravaged her body, and slowly, painfully, it took her away from him. The day Evelyn died, James felt like the air had been sucked from his lungs. He sat beside her hospital bed, holding her cold hand, unable to accept that she was gone. Their home, once filled with laughter and warmth, became a hollow shell. Every room echoed with memories, her scent lingering on her pillow, her favorite coffee mug still sitting on the kitchen counter. But amidst his grief, James looked at their daughter, Lily, and knew he had to be strong. She had lost her mother, and he refused to let her lose him too. Though his heart ached with an unbearable void, he vowed to devote his entire existence to Lily. He swore to keep Evelyn's memory alive, to love their daughter enough for the both of them. James made a decision that day. He would never remarry. No one could ever replace Evelyn. No one could ever fill the void she left behind. And so, he buried his pain deep within, choosing to live for Lily, the last piece of Evelyn he had left. Time moved on, but James's grief clung to him like an unforgiving shadow. Though he masked his sorrow with a brave face for Lily, Margaret, his elder sister, saw through him. She watched her brother withdraw into a shell, his eyes void of the spark they once held. It pained her to see him so lost, consumed by memories and responsibilities. One evening, as James sat on the porch watching Lily play, Margaret approached him gently.
"James,"
she said softly,
"you have given your life to Lily, and I admire you for that. But you cannot carry this weight alone forever."
"I don't need anyone else,"
James replied, his voice heavy with conviction.
"Evelyn was my heart, and I promised her I'd raise Lily with everything I have."
Margaret sighed.
"And you are doing an incredible job. But Lily also needs a motherly figure, someone to nurture her in ways you cannot."
Lily, who had been listening from a distance, hesitated before stepping forward.
"Dad, I just want you to be happy,"
she whispered.
"I miss Mom too, but maybe having someone else around wouldn't be so bad."
James's resolve wavered. He had built walls around his heart, but his daughter's innocent plea struck him deeply. After months of persuasion, he finally agreed to open his heart just a little to the possibility of love again. Then came Isabella. She entered James's life like a breath of fresh air, her warm smile easing the burden he had carried for so long. She was kind, gentle, and most importantly, she adored Lily. James, hesitant but hopeful, found himself drawn to her. Their courtship was slow, cautious. James tread carefully, fearing that moving forward meant betraying Evelyn's memory. But Isabella reassured him with patience and understanding. Lily, too, grew fond of her, enjoying the warmth and care that Isabella provided. For the first time in years, James allowed himself to believe that happiness could exist beyond sorrow. Finally, after much thought, he took the plunge and married Isabella. The wedding was small and intimate, a simple yet beautiful ceremony. As he looked into Isabella's eyes, James hoped, prayed, that he had made the right decision. For a time, life felt peaceful again. Lily had a maternal figure to guide her, and James had a partner to share his burdens. The laughter that once filled their home slowly returned, and James dared to think that maybe, just maybe, love had found him once more. Little did he know, the peace he had found was only temporary. Storm clouds loomed on the horizon, and the nightmare was yet to begin. The first few months after James left for his business trip were normal, or at least they seemed to be. Lily tried to adjust to life without her father around, believing Isabella's kindness was genuine. But soon, everything changed. One evening, as Isabella sorted through some documents in James's office, her eyes landed on his will. Her heart pounded as she read the details. Almost everything James owned was meant for Lily, with only a small share set aside for his new wife and any future children. A surge of rage and jealousy overtook her. How could James overlook her like this? How could he give everything to a child while she, his wife, was left with so little? From that moment, Isabella's demeanor darkened. The warmth in her voice turned cold, and the affection she once showered on Lily disappeared overnight. The punishments began subtly: denied television privileges, extra chores, but they soon escalated into cruel torment. She seized Lily's phone, cutting off any contact with the outside world. Friends who called were turned away. When Margaret came to visit, Isabella plastered on a fake smile and held Lily close, whispering threats in her ear to ensure her silence. At night, Lily cried quietly, muffling her sobs into her pillow. She missed her father, missed his warmth, his protection. She longed to tell him what was happening, but there was no way to reach him. Desperation weighed heavily on Lily's heart. Every passing day felt like a prison sentence, her body growing weaker from hunger and exhaustion. She had almost lost hope when fate intervened. One afternoon, while running an errand for Isabella, she bumped into Mr. Anderson, her father's closest friend. His eyes widened in horror at the sight of her. Her once vibrant face was pale, her clothes hung loosely off her fragile frame, and her usually bright eyes were filled with sorrow.
"Lily?"
He whispered, crouching down to her level.
"What's happened to you?"
Tears filled her eyes. At first, she hesitated, afraid of Isabella's wrath. But the pain was too much to bear. She broke down, her sobs racking her small frame as she told him everything: how Isabella had locked her away from the world, starved her, tormented her, and stolen her father's love from her. Mr. Anderson clenched his fists, his jaw tightening in fury. Without hesitation, he pulled out his phone and dialed James.
"James, you need to come home. Now."
And with those words, the storm was set into motion. The reckoning was coming for Isabella, and Lily would finally see justice. James arrived unannounced, his heart pounding with dread. As he stepped into the house, a blood-curdling scream reached his ears. He rushed inside to find Isabella towering over Lily, a belt clutched in her hands, her face twisted with rage.
"What are you doing?"
James roared, his voice shaking the walls. Isabella froze, her face draining of color. Lily, sobbing and bruised, ran into her father's arms, clinging to him as if her life depended on it. James turned to Isabella, his eyes burning with fury.
"Get out!"
He growled.
"You are no wife of mine."
Isabella collapsed to her knees, begging for forgiveness, but it was too late. James called the authorities and filed for an immediate divorce. Holding Lily close, James whispered,
"I'll never leave you again."
And he never did.